Success has a dark side that nobody warns you about. Your LinkedIn inbox is exploding with pick your brain requests. Your calendar is packed with coffee meetings that feel more like extractions than conversations. Everyone suddenly wants access to you, but most don't want connection. They want positioning. At first, it's flattering, and then it becomes exhausting. Today, I'm going to show you why this happens to every successful person and how to handle it without becoming the person who got successful and forgot where they came from. This might be happening to you right now, or maybe you're worried it will happen to you as you get more successful. Either way, you need to understand the difference between people who want to connect with you and people who might just want to use you. Today, I'm going to break down the difference between real connection and the people who just want something from you. I'll show you how to protect your time and energy without being mean or selfish. This isn't about being snobby. It's about being smart with your time so you can actually help the right people. I have personally learned this the hard way over the years as my business grew. I had to figure out that being generous without limits doesn't just burn you out, it actually stops you from helping the people who really need your help. Since I started using what I'm about to share, I've helped more people while feeling way less stressed out. One entrepreneur told me, learning the difference between connection and access saved my business. Another said, I thought boundaries would make me seem selfish, but they actually made me more generous with the right people. Here's what we're going to do. First, I'll show you the 3 types of people who want access to you and how to spot each one. Then I'll explain why helping everyone actually hurts everyone. Finally, I'll give you my exact system for deciding who gets your time and energy. By the end, you'll know how to be helpful without being drained, and how to build real relationships while filtering out the people who just want to use you. And people are starting to notice you. Let me describe something that might be happening to you right now. Your business is growing, your reputation is expanding, and people are starting to notice your success. Suddenly, your inbox is full of connection requests. Your email has messages from people who want to pick your brain. The next thing you know, your calendar fills up with coffee meetings where people want to learn from your experience or collaborate with you. At first, this feels amazing. It's validating. It confirms that you've achieved something. At first, this feels amazing. It's validating. It confirms that you've achieved something worth recognizing. You start saying yes to these requests because, well, you remember what it was like to be where they are. You want to help. You want to give back. But then something shifts. You realize that most of these conversations follow the same pattern. The person asking for your time has done minimal research about you or your business. They haven't invested any effort into the relationship beyond sending a request. They want your insights, your connections, your time, but they have nothing to offer in return. You start feeling like a vending machine instead of a human being. People insert the request and expect to get what they want, and then they move on to the next successful person that they can access. This is when you realize that most people don't want connection. They want position. I was just moving my prompter, thank you. Over time, I've learned to identify 3 distinct types of people who seek access and understand. Over time, I've learned to identify 3 distinct types of people who seek access and understanding that the difference is crucial for protecting your energy. Additionally, please know, these people exist in all industries. So regardless of your line of work, Knowing how to identify these types of people is so important to your success, your happiness, and ultimately, your income. Type 1, the opportunist. I think we all know this person. The opportunists admire what you've accomplished, but they're not really interested in you as a person. They want to be in your proximity. Type 1, the opportunist. I think we all know this type of person. Opportunists admire what you've accomplished, but they're not really interested in you as a person. They want to be in proximity to your success. They'll name drop you in conversations, post about meeting you on social media, and use the connection to elevate their own status. They'll name drop you in conversations, post about meeting you on social media, and use the connection to elevate their own status. Opportunists are easy to spot because they focus more on the meeting than the content. They're more interested in the photo opportunity than the conversation. They often have unrealistic expectations about what one interaction can do for them. This can look like someone who makes it a point to connect with you once, maybe a dinner or a meeting, and then the next thing you know, they're using you as a reference or a point of contact for clout. Type 2, the extractor. Extractors are more sophisticated than opportunists. They come with specific asks and seem genuinely interested in learning from you. But the relationship is completely one-sided. They want your knowledge, your network, your insights, but they never offer anything in return. Extractors can be draining because they often frame their requests as if they're doing you a favor. I thought you might want to share your expertise. I figured you'd enjoy mentoring someone. They make their extraction feel like your opportunity. This can look like someone seeming genuinely interested in what you do, what you're offering, the ins and the outs of the work that you're doing, the secret sauce in your proposals, only to then turn around and use that information to work with someone who's cheaper, but will provide all the same deliverables that you told them about. Type 3, the collaborator. Collaborators are different. They're interested in mutual value creation. They come prepared. They've done their homework about you and your business. They have something to offer, whether it's insights, resources, connections, or simply an interesting perspective. Collaborators don't just want to take from you. They want to create something together. These are the relationships worth investing in because they compound over time. This looks like someone who proposes mutually beneficial solutions to an issue that you're having. Someone who thinks about you and leads with value to you first, then asks for your participation with them. The collaborator is who you need to be on the lookout for, because this type of person has the potential to positively affect your life in so many different ways. Here's what I learned the hard way. Helping without boundaries doesn't just lead to your burnout. It actually prevents you from helping the people who could benefit most from your guidance. 3, the impact evaluation. And lastly, but not to be forgotten, there's the no category. I politely decline requests that don't fit in any of the categories. I've learned that no is a complete sentence, and protecting my time allows me to say yes more enthusiastically to the right opportunities. Setting these boundaries had benefits that I did not anticipate. Better relationships. The relationships I do invest in are deeper and more meaningful because they're based on mutual respect and value creation. I saw increased impact. I can provide better guidance when I'm not exhausted from dozens of service level conversations. I had professional growth. When was the last time that happened? By protecting my time, it allowed me to focus on growing my business, which ultimately enables me to help more people through my content and programs. I also saw a huge increase in personal fulfillment. I stopped feeling like a resource to be consumed and started feeling like a person engaged in meaningful work. Also, oddly enough, I got more respect from others. Counterintuitively, being selective about my time made people value it more, not less. When access isn't automatic, people come more prepared and engaged. So here's the leadership lesson in all of this. If you're in a position where you're finding yourself overwhelmed by requests for your time, remember this. Your ability to help others is directly related to your ability to maintain your own energy and focus. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot provide thoughtful guidance when you're exhausted from saying yes to every request. You can't build meaningful relationships when you're treating every single interaction like an obligation. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary for sustainable generosity. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's necessary for sustainable generosity. It's the difference between being a resource that gets depleted and being a resource that gets... Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's actually necessary for sustainable generosity. It's the difference between being a resource that gets depleted or being a resource that gets stronger over time. All right, so here are some common objections and responses that come up when you start managing your time and saying no and respecting what you have going on. A common objection is, but what if I miss an important opportunity? Okay. I honestly think the right opportunities will respect your boundaries. The wrong ones will try and circumvent them. Some people might say, won't people think that I've changed? People who respect you and see you growing and developing will understand that boundaries are necessary. Another thing that pops up is, how do I know if someone is genuinely interested in connection? Genuine people invest in the relationship before asking for anything. They come prepared, they offer value, and typically, they respect your time. It's like the new hire who wears the appropriate clothing, brings a copy of their resume, and a pen and a pad of paper for note-taking to the job interview. They're ready to respect the time of the employer. The interviewee that doesn't do this, well, honestly, that is strike one. Some people bring up, what if someone really needs help but can't offer anything in return? Well, then we need to create ways to help that don't require your direct time investment. That's creating content, creating resources, or referrals to others who can help them. If you're struggling to manage the demands that come with growth and success, if you're feeling drained by people who want access but not connection, if you want to be genuinely helpful without burning out, it's time to get intentional about your boundaries. Download my Access versus Connection Assessment Guide in the description below. It includes the complete framework for evaluating requests for your time, scripts for setting boundaries politely but firmly, and strategies for creating multiple levels of access that serve everyone better. And if you're a leader or entrepreneur who's ready to scale your impact while protecting your energy, I invite you to apply for a strategic clarity call with me. This is not a sales conversation. It's a strategic session where we can map out how to structure your time and relationships for maximum impact and fulfillment. Access isn't the same as connection. Most people want positioning, not relationship, because relationships are hard. Your job isn't to be available to everyone. It's to be fully present for the right people. When you protect your time and energy, you do not become less generous. In fact, you become more effective at generosity. You don't become less helpful. You become more helpful to the people who can actually benefit from your guidance. So with that being said, set boundaries that serve your mission, not your ego. Create access that builds relationships, not just satisfies requests. And remember, the goal isn't to be needed by everyone. It's to be valuable to the right people.